Welcome back, everybody. This is Michael Leveris with Marina Shepelsky, a family and divorce attorney. Marina, thank you for your time. You're always so helpful in answering our questions. And these questions that we have on divorce law, we're just picking from thin air. We actually do the research. We see what's out there on Google, what people are actually searching for right now. What are some hot topics? And based on my research, I came up with the following question that has to do with divorce near retirement, meaning, and we haven't talked about it yet at all with Marina. If you're about to retire, and at that point you decide to part ways with your spouse, and you want to move on, you have your pension, you have your IRA, you have your savings account, retirement accounts, you have your will, your trust, many things set up. Maybe you have kids together, or maybe you have grandkids. The question is, how does divorce impact you when you're nearing the age of retirement or you're already retired?
It's an interesting phenomenon, and it's pretty recent. There's the growth of divorces for older people, for people who are nearing retirement. That means they're in their 60s. But, you know, usually you think that by that age, people would have settled all their differences. Right. But believe it or not, and I think we did one other question about this, as people get older and the kids leave and there's an empty nest and things change over time, and, you know, medical reasons, people are sexually incompatible anymore. You know, people get divorced at older ages, you know, and when you're approaching retirement, it's very important to understand your rights, because by the time you divorce, when you're older, you have a lot of years behind you. For most cases, there's people who've lived together for 30 years or something like that, right? And we have to think about how will property be divided. How will it work when one person retires and the other one might still be working? Right. The income will change when somebody retires. Like my parents retired recently and their income decreased a lot. My mom used to be a nurse supervisor. She used to earn a lot more than she does now. It's just her pension. So that's very important. And let's go through it point by point. Yeah. Anything a couple accumulated, including pension contributions, before marriage doesn't get divided. But if you had a long marriage, like you had a 30-year marriage, that means most of your pension fund is joined. So if one person worked on the books, got a paycheck, put something aside every 2 weeks, there might be a lot of savings in the retirement fund that absolutely gets shared. Yeah. That has to be divided 50-50, because that's marital property, or sometimes it's called common property or communal property. It's joined, okay? It's going to be divided. And the reverse is true. If the other spouse didn't save anything, then there's nothing to divide. And people will say, well, that's so unfair. I had, you know, usually the men, you know, they had like an on the books job. They were the breadwinner. The woman maybe was a mom and a housewife. And by the way, man, I'm sorry to interrupt. We did a whole video. What happens if your spouse works off the books? So you can check that out. Right, definitely. But you know, in that situation where the husband was the breadwinner and the wife, most of their married life was at home with the kids, then the husband would have stayed up hundreds of thousands potentially if it's over 30 years, right? And the wife might have zero or like 8,000. So if she has 8,000 during the marriage, we split that up. If he has 300,000 during the marriage saved up, we split that up. How do we do it? We have a couple of options. If everybody's on the same page, we can do an uncontested divorce and have an agreement, a contract. That's the easiest and the cheapest option. That's usually the cheapest option, and we get an agreement. Right. The court says, do both sides agree? We say yes. Everybody had their rights. Both sides had lawyers. You know, everybody had a chance to review this. Yes. Nobody was under drugs, anything like that. No. Fine. That becomes the order of the court. So that's a court order. Then we do the next court order called a quadro, QDRO, meaning we get a court order together that part of the husband's pension plan gets transferred into the wife's pension plan
Mhm.
and avoid penalties if they're still young and not retired.
Oh, that's neat. Okay.
Right? So you don't just get the cash outright in that scenario. Although in another scenario, you might agree that for the credit of half of that retirement plan, the wife might get the house and the husband keeps the whole retirement plan in his name.
But if you
You know what I mean?
transfer the plan into your spouse's name, you're saying you avoid paying those penalties and avoid
Yes,
paying the
but you need a
taxes.
special court order for that. That's
What
called a
about
quadro order.
what about taxes? Do you avoid
There's
paying
no
taxes?
taxes because that's your money
Beautiful.
that you've accumulated during marriage. So there's
Gotcha.
no tax on that
Got
transfer.
it. Very
And
good.
that's why you do it by special court order.
Mhm.
Your let's say the husband's pension fund will ask for that court order. You have to fill out all kinds of forms and
Understood.
they have to be told to do this.
It's
Then
a
you have to
procedure.
give them the exact information for the wife's retirement plan. Maybe she doesn't have one. She needs to set it up first, then we transfer. Or there are other alternatives. We could, play with alimony. We could play with, other property they might have. So she might get a credit towards something else. He'll get a credit towards another thing, and he keeps his retirement account untouched. But then he has to give up maybe a part of an investment fund, maybe the summer house in Pennsylvania, whatever. We play with the numbers. So at the end, on paper, the numbers are equal or almost equal to both sides.
Makes sense.
Same thing goes with debts. If people are close to retirement and they have huge debts, unfortunately, those have to be divided in, as well. If these are debts that were created by the couple together, for example, they were doing some major renovations on the house and they took out a big home equity line on the house, that has to be shared. Or like they have a lot of credit card debt because they were renovating, part of the house and something happened and they put it all on credit cards. That debt
Marina,
has to
I'm
be
thinking
divided.
about it. I hear a lot about divorces that are happening because of gambling habits, because
Yes,
one of the spouses is a gambler and accumulating debts, driving family
that's
into
different.
bankruptcy.
That type of debt does
Yeah.
not get divided and shared.
Yeah,
When one spouse goes out and just creates crazy, like non-marital debt, that you didn't use the money for the family. You gambled it away. That does not get divided.
But if you
So
went
people
to
worry.
AC or you went to Vegas together and you gambled together,
That's
guess what,
different.
right?
That's
You're both in the
different.
same boat.
That's different. Yeah,
That's
or
very-
he
yeah,
had a
that's very interesting.
girlfriend.
At some point, we should do a video on gambling debt, because
Yeah.
that's a big cause for divorces.
Or generally on debt and bankruptcy. I would love to talk to a bankruptcy attorney to have them be involved in that video, because I'm not like a great specialist in bankruptcy law, but I know for sure that one spouse can declare bankruptcy without involving the other spouse, and it will not affect
That's a
the
great
other
topic.
spouse. And only one spouse's debts will be relieved in that type of bankruptcy.
That's a great
Right,
topic.
but-
And I like the fact that you are an authority on one area of law. This is what you do. Actually, two areas, immigration and family.
Yes,
But when you need
that's
other,
already a lot.
yeah, but when you need other attorneys, you're not shy to say, look,
Absolutely.
arrogant
I
also.
sometimes
to say,
I
look,
sometimes
I
do
need
my
somebody
own
else to also.
seminars with accountants or with a psychologist. You cannot know everything, and
Of course,
there's no
you can bring
shame in
experts
saying
in.
I'm not a specialist. Like for you don't pull your own teeth. You could,
Well,
but you
this
go
is
to a
what we do
dentist.
at JurisQ. Yeah, exactly. This is what we do at JurisQ. We bring in different experts to answer your pinpointed questions.
And guess what? If you have a complicated retirement type case with a lot of assets, we absolutely bring in a forensic accountant in our team. Don't think that I'm going to sit there and look at all these investment funds and the life of the investment and all these numbers. I'm not going to know what to do, and I don't have to. We're going to bring in an expert, and that expert will be, we do this sometimes. We have a lot of doctors, for example, as clients getting divorced. We'll bring in an accountant, and the accountant will go through everything. And the accountant will say, this is worth this number. Your income is this number, because people at that age already don't even know how much they earn, because they have such complicated situations. There's a W-2 salary, plus there's a profit from this business, plus there's a medical spa. that's like joint and the wife runs. So
Marina,
that's all
quick-
very complex. We'll
quick-
bring in an accountant for that.
Quick anecdote. I was recently in somebody's home and they said, look, my whole life, I grew up, I was thinking I was poor. My dad was saving and everything. We had no heat in the house. We're freezing. I used to have only a few pairs of socks. Then he dies. And the mother says, do me a favor, son, you know something about finance, you're in that field. Can you go in the kitchen, your dad's documents, and they just check his records? What do we have? The guy checks, he comes back, says, Mom, I cannot believe our whole life we were living in poverty. Our dad left us $7 million.
Wow.
Now, this person went through Holocaust. So this person had this mentality, you have to always save, save, save. You never know,
Yeah.
because Germans may come.
Yeah.
They-
So
they
he was
never
afraid
came.
to spend what he earned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You know, for
such
older
situations
people,
happen.
for older people too, I get asked a lot about Social Security retirement, right?
Mhm.
So let me put you at ease. Even if you get divorced, if you're married over 10 years, your wife or your husband is still going to get their share of your pension, no matter what,
Mhm.
even if you're divorced, but only if the marriage was long. So if it was over 10 years, absolutely, there's nothing you can do about this. They will get the Social Security pension,
Okay.
and it does not get decided in the divorce. We cannot do anything with that in the divorce. Also, if you have tax debt, you have IRS debt, that's not going to get released in a bankruptcy. Bankruptcy does not absolve you, doesn't forgive the IRS debt or student loans, and we still have to divide it up in a divorce.
Mhm. Okay, what we talked about pensions, IRAs, houses. What about the house you live in for many years? What happens?
Right. So the house is joint. Everyone owns it 50-50. One Staten Island judge who is very well respected and gets published in the New York Law Journal like every month said to me, Marina Shepelsky, there's only 3 scenarios for the marital home. So the house where the couple lived in and owned, that's called a marital home.
Okay.
She goes, Ms. Shepelsky, the husband will buy the wife out. Her 50% has to be bought out. Now, how he buys it out, we can be creative with that. We can exchange it for the pension fund. We can put some alimony and say, okay, 10 years of alimony would be $60,000. So we can, put that as a credit towards his share of the house, right?
Okay.
Wife buys the husband out. She might have to get a new loan, refinance the existing loan, get a new loan in only the wife's name. If neither of those scenarios can work for them, they cannot freaking agree, we sell the house to third parties. Whatever money is left over after everyone gets paid, taxes, real estate brokers, loans paid off, liens paid off, you know how it works. You've been at closings before.
Yeah.
At the end, there's 100,000 left over, 50-50, and we can use credits. Again, it doesn't have to be 50-50. We can, at the closing, at the end, decide, okay, but we do this ahead of time. But at the end, we say, okay, he got a credit for this, she got a credit for that, she's gonna get 70,000, he gets 30,000, walk away. Only 3 scenarios. Wife buys the husband out, husband buys the wife out, or we sell it to strangers. Goodbye.
Makes sense. Okay,
So,
very good.
It's very clear what happens, even if the divorce is towards retirement or early in the marriage, it's always the same thing. And if you want to have money in just your name and keep it as a separate property, maybe this is your pre-marriage property, the best advice and most practical is always keep it in a separate account. So it's clear you never mixed it with the funds that the other spouse made.
Then you're going to keep all or most of it, correct?
Right. Then you can get whatever money you had prior to divorce. How are you going to prove it? The only way to prove it is if you always kept it in a separate account.
Segregated. Okay, very good. Okay, Marina, thank you so much. You've answered a very important and commonly asked question. With a lot of people these days, like you said, get divorced close to retirement age, and they start over again. We're going to keep on coming back to you with Marina Shepelsky, other attorneys. Please post your comments, your questions below. You can ask me, you can ask Marina. We're going to have Marina's phone number on the bottom of the screen. You're welcome to call and ask for a consultation, and Marina will be happy to provide one. Everybody, thank you so much. Marina, thank you for your time as always. Until next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.